What if I told you that 4,000 years ago, there was a civilization more advanced than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined, with running water, indoor toilets, and city planning so precise that modern engineers are still impressed, and yet we don't even know what language they spoke, what gods they worshipped, or why they suddenly vanished. No pyramids, no grand temples, no war monuments, just silence. This is the Indus Valley Civilization, and it might be the most underrated, most mysterious, and most misunderstood civilization in all of human history. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on everything you thought you knew, or more likely, everything you were never taught about these extraordinary people. Most of us grew up learning about the great ancient civilizations: Egypt, Greece, Rome, Mesopotamia. These are the names in every textbook, every documentary, every Hollywood movie. And if the Indus Valley Civilization ever came up in school, it was probably just one line: a Bronze Age civilization in South Asia. Moving on.
The common assumption people carry is this: ancient civilizations that left behind big monuments, giant armies, and famous rulers were the great ones. We measure greatness by pyramids and conquest. We think the most powerful ancient societies were the ones who built empires through war and controlled people through religion and fear. And because the Indus Valley people left behind no pyramids, no royal tombs dripping with gold, no records of great battles, and no names of powerful kings, we assume they were somehow primitive, less important, a footnote. Some people even assume they were just a small tribal society that faded out before history really began. That assumption is not just wrong, it's almost embarrassingly wrong. Let's set the record straight with facts that will genuinely change how you see the ancient world. The Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappan civilization, flourished from approximately 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE, with its peak urban phase between 2600 and 1900 BCE. That's over 5,000 years ago. It stretched across what is today Pakistan, northwestern India, and parts of Afghanistan, covering an area of roughly 1.5 million square kilometers. To put that in perspective, that is larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. At its height, the civilization had a population estimated between 1 and 5 million people. Its two largest cities, Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, each housed tens of thousands of residents. These weren't villages. These were metropolises. Now here's where it gets genuinely astonishing. These cities were not built randomly. They were planned. Archaeologists discovered that Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were laid out on a precise grid system: streets running at right angles, city blocks of uniform size, and buildings constructed with standardized baked bricks. The bricks across different cities, hundreds of miles apart, were made to the exact same dimensions. That tells us there was a sophisticated, centralized system of standards, essentially an ancient version of building codes. But the most jaw-dropping achievement? Sanitation. The Indus Valley people had the world's first known urban sanitation system. Nearly every home in Mohenjo-Daro had its own bathroom and toilet. Wastewater flowed through covered brick drains running beneath the streets, a citywide sewage network. This was in 2500 BCE. Ancient Rome, famous for its sewers, didn't build the Cloaca Maxima until around 600 BCE, nearly 2,000 years later. Ancient Egypt's great pharaohs had no indoor plumbing. Greek philosophers were discussing the nature of the universe, while many of their cities had open sewage running through the streets.
The people of the Indus Valley had figured out clean water management millennia earlier. They also had public buildings, including what archaeologists call the Great Bath in Mohenjo-Daro, a large, watertight pool built with precision engineering, possibly used for ritual purification. They had granaries, assembly halls, and what appear to be marketplaces. And their trade network? It stretched all the way to Mesopotamia. Indus Valley seals, small carved stone stamps with animal imagery and their undeciphered script, have been found in Mesopotamian dig sites. These were a trading civilization with international reach. None of this is speculation. This is archaeology. The civilization was first discovered in the 1920s when British and Indian archaeologists, including Sir John Marshall, began excavating Harappa in 1921 and Mohenjo Daro in 1922. What they found shocked the academic world. Nobody had expected to find such an advanced civilization in that region at that time period. Since then, over 1,000 Indus Valley sites have been identified across Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. The UNESCO World Heritage Site of Mohenjo Daro in Sindh, Pakistan, is one of the best preserved. The standardized brick sizes have been verified across multiple excavation sites, including Harappa, Mohenjo Daro, Dholavira in Gujarat, and Rocky Gari in Haryana, confirming centralized planing across a massive geographic area.
The drainage systems have been physically excavated and documented. Archaeologists found terracotta pipes, covered drains, and inspection holes, essentially the ancient equivalent of maintenance access points. The Indus script, found on thousands of seals, tablets, and pottery, has been confirmed as a genuine writing system with consistent patterns. Researchers at institutions like the Santa Fe Institute and the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in India have used computational analysis to confirm it has the statistical properties of a real language, not just decorative symbols. Archaeologists have also found standardized weights and measures, small stone cubes used for trade that follow a precise binary and decimal system. This tells us they had mathematics sophisticated enough for commerce at scale. And physical skeletal analysis of remains found at Mohenjo Daro shows remarkably low evidence of interpersonal violence compared to other ancient civilizations of the same era. Very few weapons have been found anywhere in the entire civilization.
Here is where the story gets genuinely haunting, and where the biggest mystery of the ancient world sits unsolved to this day. Around 1900 BCE, the great cities of the Indus Valley began to decline. By 1300 BCE, the urban phase was essentially over. People moved east toward the Gangetic Plains. The cities were gradually abandoned. And we have absolutely no idea why. For decades, the leading theory was invasion. A theory emerged, largely built on the work of archaeologist Mortimer Wheeler, that the Indo-Aryan migrations brought violent conquerors who destroyed the civilization. Wheeler even pointed to skeletons found at Mohenjo Daro as massacre victims. That theory has been largely dismantled by modern research.
Re-examination of those skeletons found they died at different time periods, not in a single massacre event. There is no evidence of widespread battle, burning, or military destruction of the cities. The current leading theories are climate and environmental. A growing body of research, including studies published in journals like Nature and PNAS, suggests that a major climate shift caused the monsoon patterns to weaken significantly around 2000 BCE. The rivers that the civilization depended on, particularly the ancient Gagar-Hakra river system, possibly the legendary Saraswati River of ancient texts, began to dry up. Without reliable water, agriculture failed. Trade routes became unsustainable. People simply moved, gradually and peacefully, toward regions with more rainfall. In other words, this civilization may not have been conquered or destroyed. It may have simply migrated. But here is the most extraordinary twist of all. Their script, the Indus script, has never been deciphered. Not even close.
We have over 4,000 inscribed objects. We have a writing system with roughly 400 to 600 distinct symbols. Linguists, cryptographers, and computer scientists have spent over a century trying to crack it. And it remains completely unreadable. We do not know what language they spoke. We do not know their rulers' names, their creation myths, their laws, their prayers, or their own name for themselves. Everything we call them, Harappan, Indus Valley, are names we gave them. They spoke to us in writing, and we still cannot hear them. There is something profoundly humbling about that. One of the largest, most sophisticated civilizations in human history looked at the world, built extraordinary cities, traded across continents, and then, somewhere in that script, left us a message. And the message is still waiting.
Here is what we know for certain. The Indus Valley Civilization was real, enormous, and remarkably advanced. They built planned cities with sewage systems, while other civilizations were still figuring out basic urban organization. They created a standardized economy across a region the size of Western Europe. They traded internationally. They lived, by the available evidence, with remarkably little warfare. And then they transformed, migrated, and left behind a script no one can read. The myth that ancient greatness is measured by pyramids, conquests, and golden thrones is exactly that, a myth. The Indus Valley people measured greatness differently. They built clean cities, not monuments to kings. They built systems that served ordinary people, not temples to glorify rulers.
Maybe that is exactly why history overlooked them for so long. They didn't leave behind the things we were trained to look for. But they were there, 500,000 to 5 million strong, building the future 4,000 years ago. The next time someone tells you the story of ancient civilization, ask them, did they mention the people who had indoor plumbing before Rome was even founded? If you found this as fascinating as I did, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. Every week we come back here and we tear apart the history you